Okay, we're back. So, been a couple of days off actually getting these little sort of video analysis done, and that. Still been sort of looking over the charts, of course, every day. But yeah, market's been a little bit sort of up and down. Had a few other bits and pieces going on, yada yada. But end of the day, just got to sort of revert back to what works and back to the grind. And so, look, I'll start off with Aussie here because Aussie has just been you know overall, obviously shocking. Look, a review of Aussie, I over the last couple of months hammered the longs here, hammered the shorts here, hammered the longs here, hammered the shorts here. I really sort of thought around this 67 area we may have sort of seen a little bit of a kick back up and move back up to sort of sort of basically retest, but very similar this price action through this and also through this level here as well. As if we go back to the start of the year, this level here as well. Same sort of thing, sort of, big run up into it, pushed up over that sort of, or right up to that sort of 69 cent area, back down here, consolidated around the sort of 67 area, and then nothing, didn't get it and just kept on failing down. And, we kind of saw the same thing a little bit through this time here, up around that 69 area, actually popped over it a little bit here, but again, around the sort of 67 area, it's sort of come back here and it's just and just failed it just a little bit more. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a tough sort of trade through this period here. I mean, the last 2 weeks, I mean, most people will know, sort of pretty much since the election, um, has been just insane. I mean, this was the election here. The day after, this was 127% retracement to sort of bring you back up to the top over here, and then just bang, smash down here again. So, it's really sort of been doing it quite tough. But for the last sort of week and a bit, I think if we go back to, sort of what's this, mid-November, so yeah, 2 weeks, we obviously put in this low down here. We came down, we tested this again down here. This was a very disappointing thing. I got stopped out of some positions here. Very big sort of hits at this largest sort of swing position, literally by 1 point. So these things do happen, and yeah, that one stung a little bit. Yo, stung a lot. But anyway, look, I guess that's part of the game. However, anyway, the reaction here obviously fairly decent, sort of shot straight back up. And now here we are back up into this middle zone over here. So I can sort of like probably maybe update that. Well, maybe I can definitely update these a little bit. Let's sort of put this down here because we can see 65 or thereabouts just above, and that has been a very strong sort of resistance area for this. So, whoops, not that one there. If we have a look a bit closer, you can see, obviously, like we know the support and resistance, same sort of thing, and that's through this bigger band here. But really, this 65 cent level, 65 and change, 65.05, 10, whatever, it's hit it, reject, all the way down, all the way back up, hit it, reject down. Up, boom, boom, boom. So to me, this is kind of acting like we saw gold act a little while ago, and there's the analogy about the sort of I think it's the beach ball or whatever it is, that the more times you push it down underneath the water, it keeps springing back to the top. When it does pop up, it doesn't just go bit, it should go pop and sort of shoot back up. So at the moment, Aussie is very much, I mean, look, it's a little bit overboard on this 4 hour here. We've got to wait to see what DXY does because I'll get to that after this one. Obviously, US dollar is the bigger driver of the two and basically of all things. So let's get this. I'll sort of try and clear these charts up a little bit. So obviously, I think a little pop up here. Look, I think definitely areas of interest 24, maybe getting up to this kind of level over here, 36. This will come in about the same time as what would be this sort of falling resistance through here, as we can see. So this is obviously going back to the main highs. We've linked that in with the Trump, I don't want to call it the election bounce kind of thing. And that'll give us our two high. So, most likely you would think if we come up here, it's going to be sort of coming in same time as these horizontals, which were this morning. And this is another thing that's just is anybody that's been making like sort of considerable money through this period, like I've had patches of actually banking pretty good. But as I said, I've had a couple of stop outs which have really sort of damaged the account a bit. But again, I guess that's part of the game. And I'm even still learning to sort of fully cope with some of these ones. But anyway, regardless of that, we're here to talk about the charts, and this is the area, as you can see, if we actually sort of look a little bit closer through this area through here, cut it through here, cut it through here, cut it through here. This is an area. So excuse me. Let's try not to sort of sneeze into the mic. This is an area where I think we could see a little bit of a reaction from. So let's just put a little circle over this here, boom, this area through here. This will sort of come up, as you can see. It was obviously some support through these areas. This is actually going back sort of prior to the election. Um, this is the actual election and the recovery afterwards. You can see a couple of times, particularly even this Monday morning of this week. We had that big gap up and just market just sold straight into it from this level as well. So, it's obviously a hard slog, but this is your main falling resistance. It's coming in about the same time as this sort of horizontal through here. This seems like a plausible area to sort of aim for just in the short term. We do have the body fill around, where's this coming in at? 23. So 23 to 34, I mean, that sort of 10-point range on a pop of this area, I think seems like a plausible sort of area for it to go. It is a little bit overbought on the 4 hour. Let's have a look at how it's looking on the daily. Yeah, look, I mean, look, daily is actually looking pretty decent because if you think about this, this could be coming down to finally sort of putting in some sort of double bottom. When you see a double bottom through here, you want to see these kind of like springboard reaction back up. If this sort of closes down onto this level, well, it's showing obviously you got to think what is the chart telling me? Because I think this is the thing, a lot of things with sort of technical analysis, people will sort of be able to go, okay, well, look, this is how this tool works, that's fine, but what is it telling you? What's the actual information? And the information here is the market's just gone, yep, all right, sweet. Well, we've got another push, another chance to get at this level. Just took out the lows here by, a couple of points. Very similar to what silver did yesterday. I got long on silver, sub 30 in that, just on this kind of idea as well. But we saw the reaction. It's pushed up here. We've got a bit of a negative divergence coming through this period here. This is more of the negative divergence because obviously moving up, moving down. But again, this is what I say. You don't need to have a strict, well, technically that is a lower low, but, it's still coming back down to that same level and we're still pushing up with the buying pressure. So to me, this is sort of saying that sort of like, okay, that's fine. They're absorbing it and they're pushing up here. So let's say above 65.11, targeting 65.35, you can see this candle just move up through this area here. I would expect a little bit of a pushback here, which is fine. You know what I mean? As I said, this is why we have the short-term targets with it all. But what we want to see, obviously, is a breakthrough this. Up above that, you've got the previous, this is back on the daily as well, so obviously these ones are going to be a little bit tougher. The daily also still coming in at the 23%. You got to think as well, even if this were to go down lower, this is a 23%. It's still incredibly weak. So Aussie, really, if it wants to see some recovery, I mean, it's got to break the 65.11 level first, 65.33, 65.60. I think if you can get above 65.60, you're starting to look like, okay, hold on, wait, we've got maybe at least a temporary bottom. We come up and we target 65, 66.60, or maybe even those 66.80 levels. So just getting a message on the WhatsApp thing. So look, you got to break the small levels to begin with. But I think if you start to get up around this sort of 65, 60 area, you're going to see a little bit more talk about sort of Aussie recovery. And then you can start to look at, as I said, the 33, the 50 comes in perfectly on the dot with those sort of Trump highs. I keep calling them Trump highs. We all know what it is. It's the election, post-election pump, actually, where we sort of look like we're coming up. No, bang, smash everybody down. So look, it's looking more constructive than it has in the last, since October. It's only, I suppose, 2 months now, but 2 months of straight selling down. So, I think there's about time that we sort of see a little bit of a push up, but these are the levels that I'm looking forward to get through to sort of see if we're going to actually see any further recovery. Flip across gold. Gold, again, this is just something that's just absolutely all over the shop. So I stuffed gold in the sense that I had the plan of the 3 drive. If we go back on the 4 hour, you can probably see it better. this is going back a bit here, this 1, 2, and I said, look, we'll get up here and we'll start shorting it down. For some reason, I sort of ignored myself and went long through this period and got smashed through here. So missed the bulk of this sort of sell down through here. I caught this long area up through here. This was a great recovery run. Price target, as you can see, I sort of did that through the videos, and I said, look, we go through here. This is the area that I was targeting. Monday morning, again, we got that big sort of, it closed strong, got a little bit of a gap up, and then just bang, hammered down. So this is what we expected. We expected this big sell down from this area, and that's what we got coming through this area and that. But of course, you know, again, you need to constantly be sort of monitoring your plan because the bulk of this I also missed. So there's been two major periods of my sort of trading sort of career where I've really done very well. And the common denominator with those is the ability to go long and short. I don't tend to sort of flip mid-session. I don't do this kind of stuff of like, oh, I'm long now and now I'm going to short it kind of thing. I've got my plan. Obviously, this is what I do in the mornings, and and then that's the plan. That's what I'll enact. That's what I'll trade off. But the ability to swap on a higher time frame is where you make the money. Because you think about it, you're making money all the way through here. We had a price target. We had our plan. Start to layer your shorts around this area, around these price targets. Reversal, bang. And look at how fast this move down has come, even like the last couple of sessions. It is like, if you're shorting these things, like you're printing money in short amounts of money, this is a grind through these areas through here. So look, anyway, that's what's happened. Where we're at right now with it. Okay, really tough call on this, and it's really in a bit of no man's land. Because, okay, we've got our sell down, we've got our push up, we've got our sell down here. So we've technically got a higher low on this time frame here. Till it goes above 27, 27.20 or so, you haven't got your higher high, of course. So it's all very good having one higher low, but you've also got a lower high. So let's actually put one of these over here because, like a fan, these things are. So with that high there. That gives us another level to break through, so to go through with it all. But this is really the one you need to get through, this level over here, which, of course, as we can see, is this previous support that we had marked out all the way through here. So there's no sort of rocket science as to, oh my God, why did they pick that level to sell down? My price target was my price target, and that was within $15 or so, which is not bad when you consider that bounced, what's that, 150 or something. Bounced 170, and we're talking about 100 or the price target 160 or so. So very close with the price target. So that's the main thing. So we've got high low, haven't got a high high. So it's still in the idea that we could be seeing another. This could just be a wave in a move back down to this level over here. So it's not out of the woods yet. I would say you'd probably want to see. You can see obviously market is buying this heavily at this zone through here. Oops. Pinpoint. Anyway, we can see that. Market's buying it strong here. They had another shot. Bang. Quick reaction through this area through here as well. So, look, this is the thing, is the last couple of sessions as well. I've caught this move up through here, took bank. Sat out, didn't take this short here. Got long yesterday, took bank through here. So, look, there are trades to be done, but it's very tough at the moment because even on this smaller time frame, you've got a lower high coming in here. So if you look at just this area here, you got a rally, you got a high, back to the level here, you got a rally, lower high. So structurally you would think, okay, possibly moving back to test here again. We got to see. But really, I would say in this area here, this is your little thing that's going to give us our direction. This is the breakout box. This one through here. Similar, so like we had these ones through here. I had another one, where was it? Just over here on the way moving up. As you can see, this is very much sort of worked out for the same area. I'll drag that across just for the thoughts of it because this is obviously what it was reacting to. I think it was Tuesday or so. But same sort of thing here. Up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. When we get the breakout side, I think that'll give us our direction because you got such conflicting sort of things with the chart here, and I'll get on to something more in a second because we got this is your recovery move. Well, this is a decent support, broke through, retest underside. That would say, okay, hey, let's go down over here. But the buyers stepped back in and they held it up. So if you're trading the idea that here's you've said a little thing, I mean, you've only got really two touches here, but you broke through and retested pretty well on the underside of that. So, you know, that's a reason, this is why I actually got out of the shorts the other day, the longs the other day. Came back down here. But if we jump onto a lower time frame and we have a look at this little area through here, this is why I got out last night because, again, it's still got the trust issues. Look at this, up through here. And you can see that this, on a lower time frame, support, 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 broke it, smashed yesterday, bang, retest the underside here. So as I said, look, you tested the underside, higher time frame, tested the underside, lower time frame. I really think a close outside this box, 4 hours to be more sort of precise with it all, will give us our direction. So it's a very tough sort of call. But major levels wise, well, you know, if you want to sort of say, okay, where are we seeing the major breaks? You know, it's still a very big range. But remember, if we look at how gold's acted previously, this area back down over here. Remember when this was happening? Let's move this out of the way a little bit. Look at this absolute, lack of a better word, shit show. Up, down, up, down. Oh, here it goes, a new high. Oh, wait, no, he's failing. This area, and I said this at the time, these kind of areas are done by design. They clear the book of people that are long, that have been long from all the way down here. Comes up here. You got your highs. Maybe somebody's calling this as a sort of like, oh, here we go. Oh, you know, this is, look at the sell down through. Look at this sell down here. 86 down to 89. There's $100. Oof. In one straight move down here. And you can see the sort of like, you know, there's so many conflicting technical analysis things through here. Yeah, you got your falling resistance, breaks through, and it's come back up. Oh no, but he's retesting top. You know what I mean? It's just, there's so many different things going on through this area. I mean, you can see here at one point, I was obviously saying, look, this is where we're targeting 2200. Should we break this level here? Obviously didn't break it, and on it went. But the point is, I think that these kind of areas through here are meant to be confusing. They're meant to sort of wipe the book of all the people that are long, all the people that are short, suck in new shorts, suck in new longs, stop them out, do all this kind of thing, really tire people out mentally, financially, and then we see the moves. I mean, even once we broke out, look at these large swings here. You know what I mean? But this is the point of sort of keeping all this stuff. It is incredibly messy across the charts, I understand, but you know, it tells a story. And that's what we can use to hopefully work out what the hell would what the hell's going on now. Because look at these swings. These are monster moves. This is $250 drop. That is mammoth. 10% in gold. Jeez, it's huge. Anyway, enough of that. So where we're at the moment, 61% of this bounce, that held well. 61% of this bounce also held well. So there's some deep pullbacks within these things, but they are acting as they should, and their buyers are stepping up to the plate. What you want to be wary of is when the buyers don't step up to the plate. When the sellers come down to here and they go, well, we're expecting a bit more of a bounce. How many times are the buyers going to give it a shot through here before they just go, you know what, no, stuff this, there's too much. People are just selling, and it gets overrun, and it moves back down to these levels over here. So there's fibs off here. That's what I'm sort of cautious about, and this is why I'm using this box here. I was going to say that this is going to be a bit of a confirmation to sort of say, look, are we going to move out the top side here or out the bottom side here? I think that's your call at the moment. It's just two high lows. Boom, 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 boom. It's not even a nice triangle or anything. Like if we get rid of that one and we drag this up over here, I mean, you know what I mean? There's not even anything nice and neat you can sort of make off these things. So I think this is the area above sort of say the 20s for buyers to hold it. Should have run down there again because coming into this area, it is favouring a sell down, so that does favour a continuation. Does this line up on anything? No, not really. Possibly something like this. We'll see how this goes because I mean, should this break out the top, this could actually provide a little bit. I'm not a big fan of this one, but it does tend to line up potentially something like that. That's maybe how we could use this. If should this come to sort of break out the top side, that's a little area that a little plan we could sort of enact. But at the moment, just dead flat in the middle. And if we flip across quickly, have a look at the gold silver ratio, this is why. This is the same sort of thing here. It's breaking the supports, retesting the undersides, and then it's just been on an absolute rip. But even this last push up through here, let's get onto a decent time frame we can use. You can't really do this on a small time frame. You can see this last little push and breakout area through here, testing this underside of this support, came back, retesting the top side of this breakout level. So this is crucial here at the moment. So really, this is what's going to sort of pretty much dictate where we're going to be moving with gold in its next move. Because you're in a position where either this is one, a back to, bear with me 2 seconds, just got some data coming out. All right, so it's nothing super. What have we got? Private sector for Aussie. Yeah, look, and we've got this just flat. I mean, look at this. It's just pretty much solid flat. I'd be surprised if we see much of a shock here or much of a reaction of anything. Mm. This makes for riveting videos. And okay, slowly up. Minimal reaction from Aussie. As I said, it's not exactly something that's really going to be kicking it along. Anyway, back to what we're talking about. So gold silver ratio here. So this I think is going to be what we're going to sort of see as a direction, and I'll be sort of putting some alerts on this because I think this is a crucial point right now. As you can see, it's in either back test or failed breakout from here. The next level you want to look at is bottom of this area, this range here, because remember, these sort of ranges, this is a breakout. If this comes back into this area, you've got two targets. You've got either a counter swing, which will bring it down to around this area over here, which will be sort of back into this little range, or this could be a little temporary top. Remember, a failed breakout is as good as a breakout because it's telling you something as well. So if this breaks back into this range down here, I'd be looking for a move back down over here, like this. That's how I'm sort of saying this. Top side, if we see gold run back down to those supports that I mentioned a second ago, will, in my opinion, be when this is confirming a back test and moving up to go over here. And it'll be back test in the next run. So again, there's a lot of sort of positions at the moment which are just a little bit tough. Like you can't quite get a proper full read on them. So I mean, just got to wait till we get a little bit more confirmation. It's been very difficult, the trading conditions recently. Silver. We're sort of seeing this finally sort of show a little bit of life. As I said, I caught a few positions sub 30 yesterday. So through this area, we've got a little bit of a wedge playing out through here, testing the sort of resistance. That's fine. I think if we get above here, really going back into these sort of horizontal levels, this is what I'm looking for. Excuse me. If we can get sort of a push, see above say 30.30, where we at now, 23 or something. Yeah, 23. Above 30.30, 30.60, decent little horizontal here. This will act as the swing high through this position. Above that, we'll probably come into this higher time frame, thicker kind of zone. 31, big round number. Big one you want to get above though is 31.50. 31.50 will take you out of this bottom range here. And as you can see, I've already kind of got this thing marked up because look, I think I made it a little bit smaller, but more or less. That's your sort of potential range that you're looking to play with. Should we sort of break out of this zone here? Whoops, not that one. Yeah, this one here. Should we break out of this little bottom zone here? It's a bit of, again, almost similar to the Aussie in that sense. I mean, Aussie had a bit of a stronger kind of reaction with it all, but the idea is still the same. Selling down, tried to take it out. Sell it down, took it out by just, look at this, how low, how close this got. Within a point or two. So to me, this is either, okay, we're going down here, we're going to take out your technical stops, like I got done on the Aussie, um, or it's fishing to sort of see if there's going to be a big stops to cause this thing to go whoosh, down here. It didn't find it. There wasn't sort of like, oh, stop city and okay, melted down over here. So again, you're trying to push it this way, it doesn't go, well, that should give you a little bit of a springboard, and that's what we got yesterday, and obviously bang up into this little wedge here. So, a couple of little areas through here, which I find interesting. We never got this is that sort of wedge that I was trading off, and I said, look, this is our price target. I'm going to keep it there just for now. It's kind of invalid in the sense that we've come back so far, but that's okay, because it actually lines up pretty similar with this little range, double bottom, whatever you want to call it, area through here. So for me, this is the big area you want to get above. You want to get above sort of 3150. I think that's when you were going to start to see a bit more of a confirmed recovery over here. So it's going to take a little bit of work, obviously, to sort of get up through this area. But, for the time being, you got a little bit of a wedge, reacted off the bottom, it's taken out those lows, ready to sort of see if we can sort of move up a little bit. That gold silver ratio is going to be the one that's going to sort of give us our key and a bit of a guidance with it as well. So, we'll have to sort of see what they want to do with, US dollar. And that gold silver ratio is going to give us a bit of an idea whether we're going to be pushing forward with this or not. But certainly 31.50, 31.60, which is, $1.30 off, $1.30 off now, a little way off, obviously. That's your big key for silver recovery. That's when you're going to start to see people going, okay, come on, silver squeeze, bang. That's what we want to sort of see on it all. But look, the short here and now, I think, 30.60 looks like a decent level for a top side. I'd expect a reaction push back down from that. Should you get a close above that, then you can start to look at, 31 and, then 31.30, those kind of levels up through here. But first things first, get out of this wedge. The all-important DXY. Yeah, so this is one that I've, obviously been calling the tops sort of through this kind of area over here. It's jammed up here. Look, honestly, I've been rocked a little bit with this, because the call's there, because I do still believe that this is the top. If we have a look at just quickly, it's not AU, US 10s here. This is what I've been calling this sort of rollover through this period up over here. We had that negative divergence coming into the higher time zone resistance. This is when negative divergence are an absolute bomb. It's used in conjunction with a high time frame resistance. We've got 61% retracement there. We've got the horizontal. We've got this is a larger sort of falling resistance. If you step right back with this, you can sort of see that this is a very crucial kind of area. Those previous highs over here, it's near the cash rate of 450. It's broken through that sort of rising support, negative divergence, and boom, and it's rolled over, and it seems to be dribbling down here a little bit. So that's one thing that takes. It's not yields aren't the only thing that are going to drive US dollar, but it's a big part of it, kind of thing. So, what is this other little chart that I put on here? So what we're sort of seeing, this is a more cleaned up version with it. This is what I called the other day that we had a little bit of an overthrow. Put it on the 4 hour, I might be able to see it better. No better. Let's stick it on this one here. You had this little bit of a channel sort of coming up through here. I said this is the area you wanted to see underneath. I don't know why it's not on this chart. Whoops. Underneath this part just down over here. So at the moment, it's looking like it wants to go. It's obviously sort of trying to hold this area. A bit of a nothingness day yesterday, so we'll have to sort of see how this opens up. But, for me, this is coming down. And yes, you've got this little drop out here, but remember, this was a bit of a phony one. This was Carmella's actually going to have a shot at this. But, I mean, if that's not manipulation, I don't know what is. She never had a shot. She was retarded. Anyway, whatever. Point is, there is a plausible bit of a channel through here. You can see this on the lower time frames. It's got a couple more connections that you can use. You can see that it obviously respected a little bit here, almost an underside through here. Really, what I think downside here, you want to be sort of almost targeting this big gap from the election. It has been absolutely, if we get onto a smaller time frame and have a look at sort of what DXY has been doing the last week, and this is my point, that it's been tough conditions because you've got these screaming high moves, you've got this big gap down, you've got this big gap up. The thing that I reckon about these sort of things, and same was over here. Yes, we do get this extra large push up over here, but I've covered this a number of times with DXY that, in its tops, it looks like it's failing and then it screams up again. Looks like it's failing, screams up again. So this isn't any sort of shocker for it all. It's not like, oh, here we go. But these large gaps are incredibly difficult one to trade. But to look at the thing is here, you've got, I can't remember what it was, but for whatever reason, massive gap up to the top side over here. And what did the market do? Bang, sold into it straight away. That's to me says that sort of like, for whatever reason, they've had to shoot this up here. I can't remember off the top of my head what it was now, but it was obviously something the market's gone, yep, wow, and we need to sort of really hammer that there, whether it's dumping the euro or whether it's buying the US dollar or whatever it was. Point is, they saw the need to really get onto the US dollar or get out of the euros or whatever at this point, and the powers to be, the bigger part of the market, have just said, well, that's great. I was selling it down here. Now I've got a shot to sell it here. Thank you. Boom. Sell it down again. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like you got these large spikes, but the market's not carrying these things and going, okay, come on, let's run, let's go to the next level. They're just hammering into them. So if we get along here, this is what I've been trading through this week, these little bear flags that have been setting up. Both of them, I actually covered this part, this second part here, like sort of play by play on X. So it's funny actually, just on that topic of that, sort of I see a lot of people like, it's Twitter, X kind of thing, called it. It was the same thing when Facebook became Meta, and everyone's like, Meta, Facebook, and like those sort of like so just call it X, man. Like just get on with it. Anyway, whatever. Point being is, we're here for the charts. These bear flags have been playing out beautifully. A little bit of an overshoot down here, but price target for completion, bang, done. This is the one that I was saying yesterday, no, 2 days ago now. And as I said, I covered it on play by play on X. That we had this bear flag play out, but it was bringing us into a second touch into this area here, which we can see has been support, 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 resistance, support, support. So this is a crucial area, and I think this is a telling sign with DXY. Came down here, strong reaction back out of it. Bear flag gave us our second touch. I said this as it was going through. Look, this will be a little tester. See what the market's like underneath it. This is why we keep these levels marked in here, because it bounces straight up and then boom, back down. Second retest, down. High time frame, retest, down. So I think if we take out sort of 105.84, that's confirming this next leg down through here. This, I think, almost would have been a little price target I was looking for. This hasn't really sort of come out, so I might actually take this away, but I was looking at potentially, I think, something like this. Takes you down into that next price level down there. But, I think sort of breakdown, we left a little bit of a gap yesterday. As I said, it was a bit of a nothingness day in that, actually, to tell you the truth, yesterday. But, yeah, left a little bit of a gap down there. I think if we close that gap, it might be an early indicator, but definitely confirmed underneath 105.80 that we come down to 105.34. And I've got to actually make sure I've got these numbers right. There's so many different readings. I've got 105.87, 106.15, 106.15, 106.21. So I think this is the level. This is the actual chart that we're picking the actual levels off. But you can match it up with the DXY chart because the price action's the same. I think this may potentially be futures or something like this. Anyway, point is, if we get a breakdown here, this is an area which I say I'd be targeting. Which, if we have a look, Hasn't really got too much lined up with the previously, maybe some previous highs or something, excuse me, over here. But we can see that obviously this first little breakdown test under here, this 106.10 area was quite vital. And as you can see, resistance, resistance, support, support. So this is why this little grey area, I've got the alert underneath that, because I think that'll be an earlier tell than having to fully take out the bottom down here. Obviously, double like a better confirmation once you go underneath these wicks, but obviously that reduces the move down by about 30%. So we'll have to sort of see how this works. But again, look, if we see a little bit of a cooling and we see DXY come down to these bottles here, you probably see, well, you'll see Aussie get a bit of a breakout. Gold and silver have been a little bit funny with their correlations recently. Again, this is why things have been so difficult because, you know, it's not as clear cut as it has been sometimes in the past where it's just like, okay, it's breaking this way, it's breaking that way. Well, we can use that as a normal correlation. You know, they're flipping in and out a lot at the moment. So we'll have to sort of see what happens. Are these gaps? No, it wasn't that. It was, of course, we're just on the gold and the silver as well. We had the supposed peace talks and that the other day. That's metals get hammered for a drive down there. So, yeah, it's a tough call at the moment. And I think that's been sort of shown up in the book as well. All right, and talk about tough calls. Here we got copper doing its absolute best to just break people's heads in a complete grind again. As you can see, this is the box. This is the box I'm looking at. I'm waiting for. It had a nice little reaction once it did get under here. This is actually bottom of a larger triangle. If we get onto a reasonable time frame, you can see the support, 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 bang, sort of came in down here. Just going to clear a couple of these off. Keep that 9 because we know that's inside. So this is an area obviously bounced down here, sideways through here. Oh, geez, wow. That's a big gap down on DXY. Let's flip back on that real quickly. Which one? TVC. That's a big gap down. Whoop. So it's funny, with this particular chart, DXY TVC, it'll come online, as you can see, 11:45. So 15 minutes early. It gives you a bit of an insight to it all. Because if you look on the other ones, it's still up here, like nothing's happened. But TVC will go, yep, gives you a bit of an insight here. So we've got a little bit of an idea that they're gapping this down. So look, this can, in this 15-minute window, just run straight back up here. So when it technically opens or comes online on the hour, it looks like there's no sort of gap at all. But it's certainly something to keep in mind. So with these sort of things here, this is a large, I mean, given some of the gaps recently. Oh, that's not the measuring tool. 15 points. Okay, it's not massive, but yeah, it's still not too bad. It's at a little gap for it all. You can see it's obviously comes through that level that we're sort of looking at. So now we're kind of looking for a close at the gap and a move down to price target, something similar to this. We'll see how this one plays out. Back on the copper. So yeah, copper, as you can see, really just up, down, up, down, up, down. You got a little bit of a sort of lower range in here, but as you can see, it's tried to get out a couple of times. More recently, sellers have moved down their bid here. Very similar to this area up over here. So I think this is the thing. It's just gone dormant, and you know, it's just going to break your heart if you trade this thing. Buy the lows, maybe try and take some profit on the highs. I'm not one to sort of short it, but we'll see how we go. I think sort of yeah, above pretty much where I've got this alert here. Above 422. I think that's pretty much where we'll say, okay, look, it's going to go okay. As you can see, it is the bottom of the triangle. So I think within the next couple of months, I know that's a bit forward thinking, or at least the next couple of weeks, say up until January, so next month or so, we may get a bit more of a definitive direction. That's a bigger view kind of thing. I think sort of in the short term, obviously, you know, above this 422, you're going to run into some issues up over here for the previous. This is the rally after the election. So again, I think that's going to provide a little bit of a sort of pushback down here. So work to be done with copper, but nothing too super exciting at the moment. It is on a couple of different levels, high time frame supports. So I would say would favor a move to the top side. Should you break down underneath here, particularly underneath these lows, underneath 405, I think you're going to see some deeper pullbacks on copper. But for the time being, I'm in the camp of probably a little bit more of a recovery. China just grinding along the tops over here. Just you can't really sort of get down. As you can see, I started putting in the fixings for the yuan, but they're trying to sort of like keep this. You can take away from this the last 3 days, and even going only cover the last 3 days, but they're trying to sort of set the fixing down here, so they're trying to push it down, but the market's just not having it, and they're just keeping it up in their zone up at the top over here. So it's holding these pretty well predefined levels pretty well. So we can see there's a bit of a sort of little range through here. There are some lower supports down underneath here, but I think this is the area that we look for a breakout. And it's funny, when you do all these charts back to back to back to back, you see the same things occurring across the board. And this is why I do these particular charts, because you can pick out correlation. You can see the things that are happening. They're not just happening in one market. They are all, these ones specifically are correlated together. But so I'm just having a quick look at Aussie. Had a little test up at 65.10. You can see consolidations across the board, and so I think nothing's really got a clear defined direction at the moment. It is obviously moving in this bullish area. It's a high time frame resistance. Above that, we kind of know where it's going. Below down here won't mean it's a top, but you could say, okay, we'll probably see a little bit of a cooling back towards 721. All right, so I think that's it. Everything I've covered there. Quick look at the news, if we've got much. I think it's pretty quiet into the end of the week. Aussie sector here, yeah. Bit of Japanese data, bit of Euro data, and quiet one to sort of finish it off. Bit of China data tomorrow at lunchtime. Not looking super exciting. Slight little tick up, but nothing that's going to really pump the market unless you see a big beat or a disappointment there. All right, that's it from me.